Hi guys, so a viewer was asking me recently about INFJs and their talents, and more precisely, why is it that INFJs don't seem to be too aware of their talents when they do have particular talents? They don't seem to have an automatic familiarity with those talents. Isn't that a little bit contradictory, given that we also understand INFJs to be quite self-reflective people? And well, I thought that was an interesting question. On the face of it, it's a challenging question. It makes sense, right? INFJs do spend a lot of time in their minds. They seem to be quite self-reflective. So how can it be that they don't know themselves enough then to know that their talents, what they're good at? I think there are three dimensions to a possible answer to this question, and I will address them one after the next. So first of all, in keeping with the video that I've recorded, I'm not sure at this time, because I might not release this video right now straight away. We'll see. I don't know if the other video has been released or not, but there's a video that has or will soon be released in which I argue that INFJs actually don't think as much as people believe. And behind this provocative statement is hidden the suggestion that there's a difference between 4 different types of mental activity. I mean, there's more, but you could really propose 4 different mental processes, phenomenal experiences of thinking, musing, daydreaming, and being lost in thought. And I think INFJs spend a lot of time musing, daydreaming, and being lost in thought, but they don't particularly prefer thinking, rational, deliberate, goals-oriented, logical thinking processes over daydreaming, musing, and being lost in thought that have more to do with imagination and the production of meaning and the relations of meaning in the NI world. Insofar as INFJs don't actually spend as much time thinking as we, particularly non-INFJs, might think, or people who don't draw this distinction among different mental processes and processes of being in your own mind. Well, the thing is, reflection is a form of thinking. So if it turns out that INFJs don't reflect in this sense as much as people think, well, perhaps the question then loses a bit of its potency. It might just be that INFJs actually don't think that much, so maybe they don't think about their talents that much, or what might be their talents. So that's the first step, right? Now, a second step is that INFJs, insofar as they are still self-reflective people, I'm not by any means claiming that INFJs don't reflect. They do reflect a lot, just maybe not as much as people believe, and not more than certain other types like INTPs, INTJs, ENFPs, and ISTPs and stuff. Insofar as INFJs are self-reflective, they are existentially alienated. They experience a sense of estrangement from external reality, meaning that even if they might come to believe that they are good at certain movements in the NI world, it does not automatically translate for them into a talent in the real world. So it might be difficult for them to create the connection between what seems to be kind of intuitive and automatic for them, or easy to kind of manifest as far as the NI world is concerned, create a connection between this and actual, if you like, skills in the everyday world of relating to others and things. So it's almost a sense of, we INFJs can have a sense of what comes easy to us in a certain domain that is subjective and internal, and it's not necessarily obvious that that can actually translate into a skill. Okay. And now the third aspect, which is also important, is that sometimes INFJs might not want to believe, paradoxically, that they are good at certain things, that they have certain skills, practically applicable skills, right? Talents in this sense. They might not want to believe that because they have low self-esteem, because they have low self-confidence. You know, it is it is a hallmark of someone who doesn't have a very healthy self-esteem, who has issues with self-esteem, or has issues with self-confidence, that they might experience something like imposter syndrome. I've released videos about that too. So an imposter, by definition, or someone who has imposter syndrome, not an imposter, someone who feels like an imposter, might be someone who is actually very good at what they're doing, but just cannot get to a stage where they can be certain in their own mind that that's the case. So it's like a person who doesn't value themselves enough to think that, well, actually, I'm a really, really good writer. I can write a book. I can make a movie. I can be a painter. I can be a great teacher. This person might convince themselves that really they're not good enough and they're not going to do it. They might withdraw from the very idea out of a sense of low self-esteem and feeling pressured, not being able at the sort of self, at the level of the self, not being able to deal with the very idea that they might excel at something. So here it's not so much a sense of not knowing that they're good at things, but rather not allowing themselves to believe it. So there's 3 different nuances here. I hope that was useful, and I would love you to let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you have other suggestions. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like, of course. Don't forget, I've written 2 books on the INFJ that you might find useful if you would like to attain a deeper understanding of the type. The latest one is called The Infinite Soul, INFJ Life in the Modern World. It deals with questions of, well, can INFJs be happy in this world today? Often seen as hostile by INFJs and other people. I think that it's possible. I think it's possible, especially through keeping their INFJ authenticity in the face of external pressures. This is the book to get if you want to know more. It goes very deep, and it's quite new, so check it out. Check the reviews. The link is right below, and its prequel, which goes very well with the first one, by the way. They go well as a pair, is The Ecstatic Soul, a new look at the INFJ personality. That was my first book looking in depth at the INFJ mind, INFJ consciousness, what it's like to be an INFJ. If you want to understand the INFJ mind, this is the book to get, and the link is also below. And finally, guys, as always, the lifeblood of my channel is my Patreon page. I'd be immensely grateful if you consider donating to my page to help me keep going in these difficult times. You can access bonus content on my Patreon, talk to the community, including to me, having conversations with others and with me, suggest priority content for me to cover and other things. So see you there, hopefully, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.